Welcome to Gardening Through Art. I'm Elise of Joyful Plant. I help artists authentically craft sustaining brands with my Gardening Through Art course. The theme for the third pillar is Valor. Carving soft blocks of floral inspiration invites continual printing of your original artwork. Let's get started. Seed saving is powerful because the plant focuses its energy in what used to be a flower ovary to concentrate genetic potential in a tiny capsule. Similarly, printmaking is powerful because we concentrate our ideas in visual communication, laboring over a carving block template that can be potent for communication, much like a newspaper printing press. For this project, we'll use a pencil, paper, a soft block, palm tools, water-based ink, an inking plate, palette knife, brayer, and baren. This is where we learn how to maximize our stewardship in nature by participating in seasonal garden cycles. I encourage you to take a botanical field trip to prepare for a block printmaking activity. Original blocks will be carved and printed as fine art repeatedly. Seed saving and printmaking alike are when we can become aware of our power and the influence we have. Then we can exercise that potential. This is where we see that beauty is healing and creativity clarifies the meaning of life. Using a soft block and palm tools, each print block is carefully carved in reverse and focused on negative space. Using a pencil, we trace around the outside of your block. If you prefer to work from a photo, you can turn it to black and white and raise the contrast to see the white space to carve out. If you care to, you can flip it horizontally. Using our simple strokes, C strokes and S strokes, we can make a simplified sketch. Once a simple sketch is complete, we create a graphite transfer by covering the back of the drawing using the broad side of a pencil. Then, placing the sketch on the block, tracing over the lines, you may transfer your drawing to the block. This varies with the medium, so if it doesn't work, feel free to just redraw your sketch straight onto the block. Now we look at the design and darken the parts that will be black and decide which areas to carve away, leaving white space. Simplify as much as possible and check for composition and aesthetic preferences. You may choose to squint your eyes or revisit your subject to make changes as desired. It's easier to draw than to carve, so it's easy to bite off more than you can chew with carving. When we use palm tools, safety is as important as any technique, especially when carving harder materials like basswood or linoleum. Always carve away from your body and keep a bandage nearby. Safety gloves for your non-dominant hand can be helpful. Also, please always keep sharp tools safe from children. Using shallow scooping strokes away from our body, we begin to carve out the surface. You may start with a U or V-shaped blade. Some people prefer to begin with wider tools and gradually get thinner. The choice is yours. We valor through the carving, not knowing exactly how it will turn out when it's printed. What an adventure! You may choose to identify where the light's coming from, and express that in your design. But at first, I would recommend just trying an outline and keeping your composition as simple as possible. We carve as the plant grows. Often starting from the center, making a C or S stroke, and meeting at the end. Feel free to turn your design if that's more comfortable. What we carve out will remain white, and everything else will have black ink. This is a Ficus elastica, a rubber tree. It's beautiful in the home, creates large trees in tropical areas, and is still used in commercial airlines. You can choose whether to include the entire plant or the plant in a pot or just a small detail. Feel free to include any details that express character to you. You can vary your strokes or learn from them as you go. Check back with your subject to see how to express its individuality. You may choose to have a border for your design, or carve out the background if you wish. It's important to remember that there's no such thing as perfect. In art, creativity is the process. You can look back at your design and decide on any changes. You can proof your design either by using a thick marker and paper or by using the side of a graphite again to show how the shapes are forming. When you're ready to print, you can set up an inking station with a flat inking surface, water-based ink, a palette knife, a brayer, printmaking paper, and a baren, or you could use a press or the back of a wooden spoon. Set the block face up on a surface and spread a small amount of ink onto the inking surface. You can use the brayer to cover the surface with a thin layer of ink. Set a piece of paper over the block and smooth over the back side with circular gentle pressure. The conditions and temperature, humidity affect ink performance, so I encourage you to be happy with however it turns out. Each print may be a little different, and that can be what gives your art character. When you're ready to reveal, pull it gently and notice it needs more ink. The first one always turns out kind of like the first pancake. Every version will be different. Feel free to play with the technique that works for you. This may differ depending on your conditions and your working space. As you can see, this came out a little bit more dark, but we could continue to improve on that. I consider the third stage one of valor because it takes such concentration to put energy into carving a block we will not see the result of until the end. Often during a project, that 50 to 75% of it can seem challenging, and it's easy to want to walk away. I think it's important to remember how rewarding it can be to explore the value of dedication to visual arts. Just like seed saving, we create immense potential with visual communication. You can create a tiny printing press at your home with minimal tools. This allows each person to have a micropress potential and share their ideas with the world in great volume. Knowing our worth and contribution is what Dr. Maria Montessori considers valorization. I hope to see you next time with imagination in watercolor.